Boop. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Yes, you read the title correctly. This is a makeup video. I know these are few and far between, but I'm really trying to bring them back. So today's video is very spontaneous. I had no idea 2 days ago that this is what I would be filming. I was actually planning on doing another wardrobe declutter, but I will film that tomorrow and it will be out next week. But for today's video, we are focusing on a random new brand that I found at Target the other day, and I'm super excited because it just had to let the princess in. You can't close doors. It's not acceptable to her. So anyway, as I was saying, I'm super excited for this brand because I've never heard of it. It was reasonably affordable. Everything ranged from about $8 to $15, so not really cheap, but definitely by no means expensive. In saying that though, I still didn't really want to lash out and spend $100 on random products that may be terrible, so I just picked up 4 things. These are 4 things that I think you guys would love to see, but also 4 things that I think I will use again if they're good, and 4 things that are kind of important to me. One of them being mascara, because I feel like if you know me, you know that I can't live without mascara. Alrighty, let's show you guys what I picked up. So as you can see, I have already done my foundation, so there was no foundations available yet, but I feel like they're probably coming. And as for concealers, it was a stick concealer. I'm really not a stick concealer kind of person. I'm never going to use it again, so it really would have been a waste of money. But the shade did look quite fair. So if you love stick concealers, then possibly one to try. I believe it was $8. So I'm going to start off with the very first product that caught my eye when I walked past the stand, and that was this Eyeshadow Quad. As you can see, these are absolutely huge, and I'm going to give you just a few seconds to guess which color I was drawn to. I think it's pretty obvious. It's pretty much the one exciting thing in this palette. This navy blue, I am really prepared for this to just be really, really patchy and kind of don't want to use it. I pretty much just want to put some brown bronzer in my crease and then put this green all over my lid because it looks beautiful. This shade also I think could double as a highlighter, although possibly a bit too dark for me. And this is actually just a good shade to set the lid. Let's open it up and actually see the packaging, because as you can see, it's packaged open, so I don't actually know what the outside looks like. Okay, so this is the packaging. It's very plain, simple. Some people love this, some people would hate this. I do like it, but this cardboard packaging is quite cheap. Something that brands like Sportsgirl use a lot, so it might be comparable to that. I do like that the instructions are still on the back and the ingredients, so even though you get rid of the packaging, you've still got all that. And yeah, it just flips open and has a pretty good magnetic close. So let's pop this on. Actually, I'm just going to swatch this green shade first for you because I'm dying to see it. And I feel like I'm going to swatch the navy because I'm sure we're all curious to see how that's going to go. Wow. Actually feels really nice. I'm pleasantly surprised. Looks pretty even and pigmented on my finger, but we'll see. Okay. That's really, really good, guys. I'm really impressed by that. Just look at it blending out. Like it blends out pretty well. I just feel like it's a hard color to use for me personally because I don't really know what to pair with a navy. I guess I've only ever done navy and silver. So as for the green, this is such a mermaid color. Oh my god. It's beautiful. It's not ridiculously pigmented. Like it still looks pigmented. It's still even, but it's not like a crazy foiled shimmer like maybe someone like, who is it? Makeup Geek? Is that who I'm thinking of? Maybe someone like that would make. And the gold, oh, wow. Okay, that is actually quite a bit paler than I thought. I think I could use that as a highlighter. That's the kind of foil I'm talking about. So that is mind-blowing. I'm pretty happy with that. I forgot to mention this palette was $15, so the priciest thing of all is the palettes, but I think that's fair because you get 4 big pans in them. I just realized that I kind of want to put a brown in my crease to begin with, so I'm going to have to show you guys the other palette before we jump in. So this is the second palette I picked up. This is a bronzing palette, which also comes with a highlighter. Doesn't look too shimmery, so if that fails me, I'm definitely going to be using that eyeshadow that we swatched. But this is exactly the same as the eyeshadow palette, same packaging, 4 big pans, and this is good because it has 2 mattes and then a shimmery bronzer, which I would personally never use, but this shade looks pretty good to me. It's not too warm, so that's probably the shade that I'm going to pop in my crease first. It's powdery, but I definitely was expecting that. I just realized I have a Sportsgirl palette right here, and this feels actually a little bit cheaper than the Sportsgirl packaging. And the Sportsgirl packaging comes with a mirror. Alright, so definitely getting some pigment, and it's blending, but it's definitely not the easiest eyeshadow to blend that I've ever used, and it's definitely not the most pigmented. Alrighty, I think that will do. Now, I know a brown probably isn't usually what you would use if you were going to put a green on your lid, but as you can see, I don't really have too many colours to work with, and there was one other eyeshadow palette, but it was called the Smoky, and it was pretty much just all boring neutral tones, so that wouldn't have really given me much more either. So I'm going to go in with my finger with the green shade, of course, because I feel like that's the only way to do it justice, and we're going to pop that all over my lid. Ooh. Definitely going onto my lid, but a lot is still definitely sticking on my finger. Now I'm just going to blend these two together a tiny bit. They're not really blending, it's weird, they're kind of rejecting each other. Because usually if I tried to blend 2 shades like this together, the shimmer would just start going in the crease, and I don't really mind that, but my crease would then become shimmery, and it is really not happening with this. They're just rejecting each other, and if anything, I feel like I'm almost taking a bit of the brown off. Now, just for the sake of the video, I am going to grab some of that navy, pop it into the outer V, and see what happens. Wow. It's very pigmented. Hopefully it transfers onto the lid. So after quite a bit of time and a lot of blending, I have come out with an okay eye look. I actually love how the navy and the green blended together. That was beautiful. As for the brown, I would have much preferred a cool toned brown, considering that is a cool toned shade. So it doesn't look the best, definitely not my favorite. I don't really even like navy on my eye, so it's a bit like, ugh. I find it makes me look quite sickly, but I love that green, so I feel like it saves the day, and definitely not the worst eyeshadows I have ever used, and I will probably use that green again. So now we are going to move on and test out the mascara, and then I'm going to jump off camera and finish off the rest of the eye, because you guys don't need to see that struggle 2 times in a row. There were 3 mascaras to choose from, all in black, but there was lengthening, defining, and volumizing. So naturally, I'm a volumizing gal, so that is the one that I went for. This is the brush, so kind of like a conical brush, and I'm really hoping this is good because I'm so fussy with mascaras, and I do hate wasting money on them if they're not good, but I also love to try new ones. And this was $10. 10? 8. 8 or 10. So the packaging of this is quite short and chubby, which is a bit different, but I also love the matte look it has. So here goes nothing. Does anyone else like to smell mascara, just to make sure it doesn't really smell like paint? So that is the brush. It's actually kind of pretty different to anything I've ever used. It looks like a wet formula, but not too wet, so everything seems promising so far. This could be good, it could be terrible. I'm scared. Okay, so far it's definitely doing way more than I was expecting, so I'm super happy about that. but so far it's more just lengthening, defining for me. I haven't got the volume yet. Okay, so everything went downhill from there. That mascara dries so quickly, it's kind of like glue. My bottom and top lashes were sticking together, it was drying so quickly, and it was really impossible to separate. So it didn't go super clumpy, but I am really fussy, and if lashes are stuck together, I do like to separate them with the corner of like a bottle or a tube or something. And they were just moving and then like gluing to the next lash, bending all weird. And then when I tried to move them, they just would not separate. So I don't know what is in this, but it's literally like glue and dries way too fast. So you have no time to work with your lashes if you're the kind of person who likes to do that. And once they are too far gone, it's pretty hard to pull it back. Now I'm going to jump off and just quickly do the other eye. Alrighty, so all done with the eyes. Of course, the second eye's mascara that I wasn't filming came out better than the first, but that is because I didn't layer it up as much. I pretty much just put on the first initial coat, built it up a tiny bit, and then as soon as it started to get weird and sticky and dry, I just stopped. So it looks okay, but it is in no way voluminous. It is just defined, really, a little bit lengthened, but really I just have long lashes, and even now I can still feel as I blink my lashes kind of getting caught on each other, so it's just not a pleasurable feeling. In saying that though, I still kind of like how my eyes look. It's very different for me, so it's quite fun, and I would still leave the house looking like this. Moving on to bronzer, I have already showed you guys the palette, and I'm going to be using that same shade that I used on my eyes for my face. I don't set my face as well, so if it sticks or goes patchy, that may not be the product, but we will see. Alrighty, so far not very pigmented. There we go. That is orange. So I thought it was quite orange at the start, but blended out, it is really not too bad. I don't know how it's showing up on camera, but in this mirror, it actually looks okay, and it still doesn't look very pigmented. So I would still even want to build it up just a tiny bit more. It definitely does look orange though when it initially goes on. It's really strange. This is the cooler of the two though, and the lighter, so I couldn't imagine what that shade would look like. Are you kidding me? I picked up the same amount I've been picking up each time. Why did it do that on that side? And it's stuck. Are you kidding me? Blend. Blend like your life depends on it. Oh no, patchy, patchy. I've been blending too hard. You know what? People walk around with bronzer like this, so it's not that crazy. It's just a lot for me on my pale skin, and I just don't understand why it was so pigmented that time. Whereas on the other side, I dipped in like 3 separate occasions to build that up. And then that's just like, pff, there you go. This is what you're looking for. No, actually, I wasn't. It's fine, I'm just going for that glowy summer look, even though I've got winter on my eyes. Alrighty, so it is blended out quite significantly from what it began as, but this is definitely the most bronzer I have ever worn in my life, and no matter what I do to this side, it still can't seem to quite match up to this side. So I don't know what happened here. I don't know if this side was wetter, but it's really strange, and I probably wouldn't really use that bronzer again. I don't know, it's either not pigmented or it's a splotch on your face. Now I'm just gonna quickly test the highlighter because it doesn't look that shimmery, so I think I'm going to end up going with the eyeshadow. Oh no. That's a really nice natural glow. It's so much lighter than I was expecting because it's almost champagne-y gold in the pan. I was expecting it to be dark on my skin, and it's almost white, which is really strange, but it's a really nice glow. It's definitely there. It's a bit more than subtle, but it's not blinding. Definitely if you're looking for a good highlighter for $15. If you think you can work with the bronzers and you want a good highlighter, then definitely worth a shot for $15. I do, however, really want to try this shade, even though it's so shimmery, so I'm a little bit scared, but I feel like, why not really? It's not picking up anything on the brush. So I feel like it's just putting down the excess from that other highlighter, not actually picking up this shade. I can just see glitter now on the brush. Alright, no, it's not working. A brush cannot pick up this shadow. It's kind of just sealing over, unfortunately. I'll just finish off with the actual highlighter. So face is all done. Overall, I do really like that highlighter. It does remind me of my Essence one I'm obsessed with at the moment, but just a little bit more subtle. And the palette overall, it's okay, and if you feel like working with the bronzers, then definitely give it a go. But I don't know, you have to decide if it's worth $15 just for that highlighter. But it's pretty good. Moving on to the final step, we have a matte lipstick, and this is in the shade Intense Nude. So this is the packaging. Like the mascara, it has the matte black packaging, and it is just a bullet lipstick. I thought this shade was really beautiful, so I was very intrigued to try it. So let's give it a swatch first. Quite a pretty colour, darker than I was hoping for. I really kind of wanted a light nude, but that's okay because this colour probably suits me better than a light nude. So that formula, it's quite creamy, pigmented after you built it up, and oh, I thought it smelled like vanilla, but it actually just smells like children's lipsticks. It's definitely matte and not as dark on my lips. Actually really enjoying this shade. Okay, so I think the lipstick is definitely the star of the show today. It's really pigmented, actually the perfect shade, kind of exactly what I was looking for. Really creamy and velvety on the lips, but still looks really matte. And I think that is pretty good for $10. I'm pretty sure this was 10. So this is the finished makeup look. I actually think it came out alright. I'd be happy to walk outside like this in public, and I don't think anyone would look at me and think, wow, something went wrong with her makeup today. Overall, the products weren't the worst I've used, but I think my opinions were pretty clear. Really, the mascara is an absolute no-go. I think it's just pointless because when you try to build it up like it's supposed to be to volumize, it just all goes horrible and your lashes will stick together, which is not a nice feeling. The only thing I highly recommend is the lipstick. I think it's really comfortable, looks really beautiful, and it's quite pigmented for so cheap. As for the palettes, I feel like use at your own risk because the bronzing one, as I said, you got to work with the bronzer, but the highlight is really nice. And with the eyes, they're not the most pigmented, maybe a little bit patchy, not the most blendable things in the world, but this eye look is pretty cool, and I really do love that mermaid green. So I know this video is meant to tell you guys whether or not to buy it, but I feel like I just show you guys how it performs and then you can make up your own mind. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe down below if you are new. I hope you're all having an absolutely amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!